Hello, everybody, and thank you so much for joining us today as we talk about creative Giving Day engagement ideas for your Giving Day. My name is Bridget Cafaro, and I am the Customer Success Manager here at GiveGab, a technology partner for Giving Days across the country. And we're so excited to be joining forces with all of you participating in Giving Days coming up this spring to be able to bring our knowledge across the Giving Day field, working on dozens of Giving Days across the country to help empower you to have the most successful experience possible. I'm also joined by Alyssa Ravenel, GiveGab's Director of Customer Success.
Hi, everyone.
All right, so just a few housekeeping notes before we jump into today's presentation. You are all on mute to keep the noise levels to a minimum. However, we do encourage your questions. So please take a moment to locate your Q&A panel for this webinar so that you can take some time to ask as many questions as you have throughout the presentation. We will be taking time at the end to address all of your questions and have a conversation about some creative ideas you might be utilizing for your Giving Day. Additionally, this webinar is being recorded, so you will be able to revisit it at your convenience or share it out with someone who was not able to attend today. And with that, let's jump right in. So creative engagement ideas, I feel like those are a lot of buzzwords that we hear when preparing for pretty much any fundraising event or campaign or Giving Day throughout the year. And I know we're always trying to think of ways to excite our donors, get people really motivated to support the Giving Day, especially if it comes up year after year. And what I love about a Giving Day is there really aren't any specific rules that you need to abide by other than that it's a day of fundraising to celebrate your community and your organization. So it's a great chance to try new things, whether it's new online tools or maybe peer-to-peer fundraising, or maybe you have a matching fund that you've never utilized before. It really is a great chance to kind of leverage those new ideas that you're seeing and make the most out of them on this Giving Day to become more successful. So basically, this webinar is going to be focusing on how to actually use creative solutions to help you reach your existing goals. So a lot of these things actually aren't that outside of the box, but they do take some really common themes that we see from online fundraisers to actually make the most out of a Giving Day experience. So we're going to highlight some really awesome campaigns that we've seen around Giving Days, as well as some best practices and other creative ideas that you can utilize to make the most out of this day for your organization. Additionally, we'll talk about some ways that you can actually take the Giving Day offline. And this is something that we've seen become increasingly more popular as Giving Days have grown across the country. Because while it is primarily an online fundraising event to empower donors to give easily and securely online to your organization, it is also a great way to engage your community physically, whether you have an event, a volunteer opportunity, and we'll talk about some of the ways in which you can do that to really get people excited about the day online and off. And then lastly, we're going to cover how to actually use your Giving Day as an opportunity to celebrate the work that you do by having fun with your supporters. Because if you've participated in a Giving Day before, even if it was, Giving Tuesday or another regional Giving Day that you've celebrated, you know that participating in a Giving Day, while it can be a lot of work, it's also incredibly rewarding and a lot of fun during that actual Giving Day event. Because you do get a chance to kind of break the rules a little bit, try new things, and your supporters actually get to be along for the ride with you. It's not just, here's my donation, thank you for your support, end of relationship. It's a big celebration of all that you do together and why your supporter relationships are so crucial to your mission moving forward. So throughout this presentation, we're going to talk about ways in which you can utilize some things you're probably already doing and enhance them to get people excited, have fun, and just be creative and try new things. So some questions I like to ask myself to start inspiring some creativity, get my brain thinking about what I can do in the best case scenario. Thinking about your campaign for this Giving Day. Are you telling a specific story? Are you tying your campaign to a person, a place, really focusing on something specific so that when you are kind of developing these creative strategies, you're leveraging that existing story that you're already telling and really using your creative strategies to highlight that information. Also thinking about how your donors generally prefer to be engaged with. I think this is incredibly important, not just for giving days, but with everything that you're doing throughout the year. Do your supporters really engage heavily on Facebook? Do you have a very strong Facebook presence and not so much on Twitter or LinkedIn? Or maybe your supporters really stay up to date with your newsletter and they really like to be engaged with via email. Or do you have people that just love to stop by and visit you and come into your office or physical space to kind of join in on the fun? So thinking about what your donors like is going to make it a lot easier for you to come up with a strategy that's actually easier for your donors to get behind and support you on. And then also thinking about existing opportunities that are happening around the time of the giving day. I know from organizations I hear participating in a giving day, they're like, I already have a lot of stuff going on at this time. I don't know how I can integrate this giving day into my existing fundraising plan. And that's one of the things I actually love about giving days. It shouldn't take away from your existing opportunities. It should really lift them up and highlight the work you're already doing in a way that, brings it to a new audience, that highlights how that, opportunity is actually affecting your local community for those more special regional giving days where it really is all about giving back in your own backyard. So highlighting those opportunities that you already have so you don't actually have to start from scratch to come up with a creative campaign strategy. And then lastly, thinking about what will make your supporters proud and excited to be a part of the giving day with you. And this can be a number of things, whether it's something physical that they can tangibly say, whether it's a button, a sticker, a poster that they have after they give to kind of rally around their support of your organization. Or maybe you're just going to have interviews with donors all day, or you're going to use social media to really ramp up people's excitement. There's so much you can do to get people really excited about a giving day because it is unlike any other day of the year. It's an opportunity where not other days are people actually going to a site and looking for organizations to support, thinking about how they can make a difference in their own community. So by really leveraging that, combined marketing power of all the organizations participating, the giving day itself, your entire community, it does make people want to be a part of something bigger than themselves and be a part of something, especially if it's in their local community. So ramping up that excitement leading up to the day and making sure your supporters know what your plan is and how they can help you achieve your goals. So some top strategies for success, I think these three things are probably the most crucial components as you start to build a strategy, as you start to think of ways where you can actually think outside the box. These are probably the top three things you should be thinking about as you develop that strategy. And the first thing I always think about, whether it's a creative solution or just my overall giving day goal or my general fundraising throughout the year, is what are my actual goals? And determining your goals as early as possible is going to make everything you do preparing for your giving day so much easier. Because by establishing your goals, whether they're internal goals, external goals, soft goals, hard goals, it's going to make it easier for you to figure out what are the best steps to help you achieve those goals. So by setting them early on, whether it's a monetary goal, a donor goal, maybe you have a board engagement goal or a match goal, I could go on for days on how many goals you can actually set around a giving day. But as long as you have those in your back pocket as you plan for your giving day experience, it's going to make everything a lot more cohesive and make your strategy make sense to donors who are participating in this day with you. Because if you can easily kind of articulate what those goals are in your content and the things that you're sharing and how you're rallying your supporters, it's going to make it that much easier for people to know exactly what they have to do to help you achieve those goals. And the easier you can make it for your potential donors for them to see that impact, the better the experience is going to be for everyone involved. And then again, thinking about your supporters, what interests them, what excites them, how do they like to be engaged? All of those really crucial questions are going to help you figure out where to allocate your resources, especially if you have a smaller capacity. You can't just do all of the things. You want to focus on that one thing that you know is really going to engage with people in a positive way. So whether that's email, Facebook, LinkedIn, videos, what really gets people moving and gets people excited. Looking at past giving days, seeing how things worked, who engaged with what the most, where you saw the most conversions, to kind of get an idea of what to focus your strategy on. And then, of course, always thinking about your capacity. With the giving day, there's a lot you can put into it, but you also want to think about what you're getting out of the giving day. What's going to bring you that best return on investment? Maybe you will have to, put up a little bit ahead of time to get some stickers for your donors, or if you're going to have an event, getting some materials involved so people can win shirts or, again, stickers, flyers, all those print materials, or, you are hosting an event, you need to put some money towards actually securing a space and collaborating with other nonprofits to make it happen. Thinking about what you are willing to put into this day, again, to align with your goals so that you get the maximum amount of success out of what you're putting into it. So again, this varies for every single organization. So thinking about what your organization is able to handle, what you really want to get out of this giving day, and then thinking about what things you've always wanted to try but have never gotten the chance to. Because a giving day is just that, is a chance to try those new creative ideas and really test the waters with how your supporters will engage with them and move your mission forward. So now I'm going to jump into some different examples of organizations who've participated in giving days on GiveGab in the past and really highlight some creative ways in which they engage their supporters on the giving day. And one of my absolute favorite ways to engage supporters is going live. And I think we've seen over the last year and a half that this has become increasingly more popular because of how easy it's become for anyone to do this on now multiple social media platforms. I think it used to just be Facebook, but now you can do it on Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter. I think all of them pretty much have a live video functionality at this point. And what I love about going live is that it really encompasses the mission of a giving day in itself, which is to celebrate the moment while it's happening. It has that sense of urgency. You only have until midnight to give. So people are going to be kind of following throughout the day and do want some more real-time updates that going live can really help you accomplish. And especially because when you go live as an organization, something I love with Facebook's features specifically is that when you go live, all of the people on Facebook who follow you, who like you, will automatically get a notification when your organization does go live so that they can see, oh, wow, I can go check in on this right now without you having to push a button, do a thing. It happens automatically. Anytime a notification or a reminder to a supporter can happen automatically, that just makes everyone's life a little bit easier. And another great thing about going live, even if you only go live for a minute, you're not sure who's going to watch it, it's still active after that live event. So people can come back to this video later on in the day if they missed you going live. So that is content that you can utilize after this moment to celebrate your organization. I've seen so many creative examples on giving days of organizations who go live. It's great if you're having an event on the day just to kind of show off the supporters who are showing their support for you by attending that event. Interviewing people at the event, asking them why they're there, why they give. But if you're not having an event, there are also so many other ways that you can go live and engage your audience. I've seen people give tours of their space, whether it's, people actually working on the mission itself. I think I saw one that was kind of like science labs, and he did a tour of what all the scientists were working on and why that was important to the organization. I've seen people give a tour of office cubicles saying, here's my team, we're all so excited about the giving day, here's Jenny, she works on making our volunteers as successful as possible. And that might not seem like an exciting thing, but you'd be surprised by just pulling back that curtain a little bit. You're opening the door for your supporters to understand what you do, who you are, why you're doing it. And just that little sneak peek, why that might not seem incredibly exciting to you, might be really fun for your supporters to kind of get a chance to see the behind the stage, kind of behind the scenes view. You can interview people. If you have a volunteer opportunity on the giving day, which is a fantastic idea for living your mission on the event, that's a great opportunity to go live, show off what people are working on, interview your volunteers, interview donors to kind of get their feedback on why they give, why they support your organization. Going live is also great if your giving day has prizes or matches. So when you get really close to those prizes, going live to kind of count down, celebrate those donors who come in the final moments. You can also announce that you've won a prize by going live. I've seen confetti cannons, balloons, whether it's computer paper that you're using to just write little signs. There's just so much you can do, and at little cost, no matter what your capacity is. So this is just something to consider, especially during those giving day events where there is a sense of urgency. And by going live, you are kind of giving those real-time updates throughout the day that people are actually looking for on a giving day as opposed to any other fundraising day of the year. So here's an example of a really great campaign from the Badass Brooklyn Animal Rescue in Brooklyn, New York from Giving Tuesday 2015. So this was actually a completely volunteer-run organization. They had no paid staff working at this animal rescue. And for Giving Tuesday this year, or in 2015, they decided they were going to actually live their mission on Giving Tuesday and document it throughout those 24 hours so that they could, again, kind of pull back that curtain for their supporters to see what they actually do and why it's so important. So what they did was actually they drove down like early in the morning to a kill shelter in Georgia. And, they were documenting on social media, posting videos of the team kind of driving down. They took photos and videos as the rescue was happening, bringing all the dogs on board. And then when they were driving back up from Georgia, they were naming the dogs, showing pictures of all the dogs that they rescued. And then by the end of the actual day, not only did they incredibly exceed their fundraising goal for Giving Tuesday, but I'm pretty sure by the end of the week, every single dog that they had adopted, or every single dog they'd rescued had been adopted, which is just proof that this mission was really kind of happening in real time. They were living their mission so that everyone can see, wow, this is happening. I can actually make a difference and maybe even find the dog of my dreams. So this was just an example of how this organization used that 24-hour time crunch that many giving days provide to tell that story over the period. So starting things off in the morning, beginning their journey throughout the afternoon, kind of posting things on their way back up, and then creating little stories for the dogs later in the evening and celebrating everyone's success as they rescued these dogs and brought them back to the shelter. So just some fun ideas for ways that if you do have that capacity to kind of actually live your mission in real time on the day, this is a great way to do it. But if your mission sometimes takes a little bit longer to execute, you can't just go somewhere, fix something up, and come back. This is a really amazing example. I know I was incredibly moved by this story from Stop Children's Cancer from the Amazing Give 2017 in Gainesville, Florida. So this organization actually broke down an 873-day story of this little girl who was diagnosed with cancer into little bites that they told leading up to and on the day. So the week before, they started telling the story of Kaylin, this little girl who was diagnosed with cancer. And throughout the week leading up to the day, they started to break down her cancer story from being diagnosed to the treatment she received to the help her and her family got from this organization. So supporters were kind of, following it ahead of the Giving Day. And then on the Giving Day, they really ramped up these posts and these communications so that people were continuing to check back, what happened next in Kaylin's story. I want to know what happened. And this Giving Day actually ended at 6 p.m. So at 6 p.m., right as the Giving Day ended, they posted a video of Kaylin actually ringing the remission bell to celebrate kind of the end of her story of, beating cancer. And it was just so incredibly powerful. They exceeded their goal. They really pulled on people's heartstrings by telling a literal story of a person who was personally affected by the work that they do and how they made a difference in that little girl's life. So incredibly powerful stories that typically might only be, a page long. You'd write it up, put it on your site. You might not be able to really share it out in a way that's going to make it easy for people to digest. So by breaking this story down into little social media posts, each a paragraph and a picture, that gave them the capacity to get people excited leading up to the day, to make sure they were checking back leading up to the day to see, oh, what was the next post? What happens next in the story? And then on the actual day, really rallying behind Kaylin and this organization to celebrate the work they do and see that positive impact that this organization made on this little girl's life. Another fantastic example of a storytelling idea is actually create your own campaign hashtag. So if you do have like a common story theme that you're hoping to share, or maybe you're really focusing on a specific person or program that can be kind of digested in an easy way where you can create a hashtag, this is a great example of an organization that did that. So this is the Children's Book Bank in Portland, Oregon during Oregonians Give 2015. So this story is incredibly moving. There was a child named Jasper who had a speech delay and really struggled with reading until he found a book that really inspired him to learn to read and just get more comfortable with reading. So they created this whole campaign around Jasper. And they wanted other people to kind of share stories of books that they read that made them love reading and made them fall in love with, reading more and being a part of this organization. So they had other supporters at their or of their organization use the hashtag Inspire Jasper to share their story and actually literally inspire this person who was affected by the book panic to say, hey Jasper, I also was inspired by this book, whether it's Harry Potter or something else. People really got excited because not only were they joining in on this movement to empower this boy, to make him feel like he was kind of a part of this organization, a part of this mission, a part of this family. They were saying, hey, these are books that inspired me, which got excitement for the cause, but it also made these supporters feel heard and feel special because they got a chance to say, hey, I'm Bridget and Harry Potter is my favorite book and this inspired me to read more as a kid. So you're telling not only one overarching story about Jasper and how he was affected, but you're pulling in the personal stories of everyone that's joining in on this campaign by using that hashtag. And another perk of creating a campaign hashtag is that it does make it easier for you to kind of track these supporters' posts. So whether they're putting it on Facebook, Twitter, wherever they're sharing, as long as they're using that hashtag Inspire Jasper, you can search by that hashtag, you can view all their posts, you can engage with them on your own accounts. It really is a fun way to get people involved, especially when they're sharing their own personal stories that make them feel like a part of this day with you and not just a donor. Another great example of the campaign hashtags, one of my favorites. So this was from the Columbia Land Trust in Portland, Oregon for Oregonians Give 2015. And what they did was they created a persona named #NatureGlenn, and he was pretty much an identical copy of their executive director, as you can see here. So what happened was they are a nature conservancy, so they have these beautiful lands that they conserve all over Oregon. So that's kind of a wide space to cover throughout the day. You can't physically be in all of those locations. So what they did was ahead of the giving day, they took NatureGlenn, the little doll, and they took photos of him in all of these different places throughout Oregon, these beautiful locations that they work really hard to preserve. And throughout the giving day, throughout that 24-hour period, they kept posting those pictures of NatureGlenn, kind of spaced out every couple of hours. So people would try to ask, where's NatureGlenn going to end up next? Where's NatureGlenn now? And people did. They checked back throughout the day. They wanted to know where NatureGlenn was. They thought the idea of, seeing that little doll was pretty engaging. So people remembered it. They came back. And this organization surpassed their goal for Oregonians Give. They were really successful, and their supporters just kind of loved following this doll throughout the day. By the end of the day, people were asking, where's NatureGlenn? Is he going to come back? Did they win? It was just a very exciting way to get people involved. And it's also a great way, if you don't have the capacity to actually maybe take photos of people that you work with for privacy reasons, or maybe you do have a wider area of service that you cover. This can be a fun way to actually show off some of those different situations by using some kind of doll or prop to kind of make people visualize those things without actually, affecting anyone's privacy or anything like that. All right, so next I'm going to go over some examples of creative challenges and ways that people really motivated their donors to give by incentivizing them and motivating them towards a very specific goal, challenge, or match. So here we have an example from the Alcohol and Drug Council of Tompkins County. So this organization really wanted to get their board involved in their giving day, and don't we all? Board engagement is an incredible way to really expand your reach on the giving day and make sure you've got that great team behind you to get people excited about your giving day. And so what they did was actually they sent their board members out to fundraise on their behalf. So this giving day had some peer-to-peer functionality, which are those crowdfunders who share out their own stories to get other people that they know to donate to the organization. And they had a little friendly competition with their board members. And they said, okay, whichever board member raises the most for our organization on this giving day, you're going to get a trophy, you're going to get a little back scratcher, you're going to get a mug, some swag from the organization. So you can see from this picture, not a ton of time and money were spent on these prizes. However, that does not mean that those board members did not go after those prizes like they were a $100 gift card to the mall. They were so excited. They were, kind of edging each other up throughout the day, trying to get up on those leaderboards, saying, all right, I'll donate 10 to your campaign if you donate 20 to mine. All of this fun stuff that got them excited, got them to kind of have fun with each other. And then when other people saw that those board members were getting excited, kind of egging each other on social media, they were like, this is hilarious. I want to get on board. I definitely want to support this awesome organization. Again, they exceeded their goal. They had fun. And you can see here, it really doesn't take, a ton of time or money to incentivize your board members or whoever is rallying around your cause on this day. Even if it's a t-shirt, some pens, things you have around your organization with your logo, your branding on it, can be a great incentive. Or if this is something you think can really have a big impact on your success, maybe going out, getting a movie gift card or a gift card to a local restaurant to thank the person who helps raise the most, or maybe if it's not even a monetary goal, the person who brings in the most donors on the day, or just post the most on social media to get people excited and incentivizing their ability to help you. This organization is a great example of that. And clearly, all you need is some dollar store back scratchers and some stickers, and you've got an awesome prize. This is a really great story from the Habitat for Humanity Golden Empire from Give Big Current 2017. So this organization leveraged peer-to-peer fundraising, and they actually had a 5-year-old fundraiser who created his own fundraising page. And I love this news article because the dad says, I was really nervous, setting my kid up with his own fundraiser. What if he doesn't reach his goal? What if he's not successful? How do I tell a little kid that? And he was really, really nervous. But it turned out as soon as the community started poking around, they saw that this 5-year-old had shared a personal story about how he just thought everyone should have a home. People were so moved by it that not only, I think he raised double what he had originally hoped to raise, and his dad worked for the Habitat for Humanity. So it was just a really fabulous story about this family, this little boy who was so passionate about this cause that he decided to have his own fundraiser for it. It was shared not only by friends and family, although that's how it began, but as soon as more people started to see this really awesome child who was so passionate about giving back in his own community, people from outside of his family, outside of his friend group started to share that out. And it really made such an impact that it even made the paper after the Giving Day because of how awesome he did and how inspired people were by his motivation to support this Giving Day. So some other incentive ideas that you can utilize, this is a really fun one, where if you have the ability to leave donation comments on a gift, you can use that as an actual entry into a competition. So this is an example of a school that actually used those donation comments to vote what the principal was going to dress up as, what superhero the principal was going to dress up as next week. So every time someone donated, that was essentially a vote. So someone could donate multiple times or just keep saying, I want to see him dressed as Wonder Woman 50 times. And that would count as 50 votes, but it also means that they donated 50 times. So it might seem silly, it might seem like, people might not give a lot, but if you are especially having a specific donor goal or you want to kind of have some fun, this is a great way to make people feel like by donating, they're not just making a difference to your organization, but they also get a kind of a say in what that money goes towards, or they're having a little bit of fun. So they might not even know what they're donating towards, but they know they definitely want to see that principal dressed up as Wonder Woman next week. So by kind of having some fun with your supporters in this way, it does motivate donors of any capacity to have an equal impact in the outcome of the event, which I think finding those opportunities for all of your donors, whether it's a $5 donor or a $500 donor, to have the same impact can really get people excited because you're taking away those barriers that some donors might feel when thinking about donating to your organization. And what I love, it can be really easy to determine the winner by just looking at all these comments, sorting them, seeing how many of each you got, and then the next week you have a big announcement, you film it, you celebrate it, you share it with your donors in an email after the day. It makes for some great stewardship, and it's just a lot of fun. Social media motivation, I kind of mentioned this with the hashtags. So whether you're developing, your own hashtag for the Giving Day, or you want to leverage some existing hashtags that are out there, some more general ones like, why I give, or, my giving story, things like that to kind of motivate people to share on social media can be really powerful. Again, it's easy to track, it's easy to find, and it also encourages people to be proud that they are supporters of your organization, to kind of scream it loud. And thinking about if you do want to have some specific social media challenge, really getting those ducks in a row ahead of time, since these can be a little more challenging to organize and get people to understand if you are going to have a challenge around social media. So whether you're creating your own hashtag or asking people to use a different hashtag or the Giving Day hashtag, making sure that you're making it clear what you hope your supporters will do either after they donate, before the Giving Day, on the Giving Day, so that everyone understands exactly what they need to do to help you reach those goals. And social media is so much fun on a Giving Day because you do get to kind of break those standard rules of communication. You can post as many times as you want throughout the day. You can post live updates. You can send emails. You can go live. You can kind of, like things that your supporters are posting, especially on Twitter. If someone, @s you or uses your hashtag, making sure you're going in and replying and liking and really engaging with these people in real time on the day. So that's probably my biggest suggestion if you are going to be heavily using social media on the Giving Day. And everyone should be using social media, hopefully a little bit. But if it's a huge part of your strategy, making sure there's someone there to respond to your supporters when they like things, when they share things, thank them, celebrate them, and make them feel like they are a part of this movement with you. All right, creative matches. These are probably one of my favorite ways to get people to feel like they're giving to something greater than themselves on a Giving Day, because you actually are giving them the opportunity to make an exponential impact. Just kind of highlighting the emphasis of why it's so important to give back on a Giving Day, why it makes a difference to give on that day, unlike any other day of the year. So these are some examples of some creative matches. So we all know probably the standard, dollar for dollar match, or a challenge for if you reach a certain number of donors. But these are actually some of the more creative ones that we've seen throughout Giving Days we've worked on. So this first one is a social media engagement match. This is probably one of my absolute favorites because it not only helps the organization reach more people, it not only makes it easy for donors to be able to do something as simple as like a Facebook post and have that make a donation, but it also is a great way to leverage your business community and have that business have their posts be shared amongst a new audience and have them receive, equal if not more from this exchange than not. So you can see here in this example on the right, this organization partnered with a local business who every month they highlighted a different nonprofit. And for every like that a post would receive, they would donate $1 up to $1,000. So I absolutely love this idea because it is essentially so easy. All you have to do is find a business partner who's willing to put up, it doesn't have to be $1,000. It can be $50, $100, something that's really, in the capacity of that sponsor who's sponsoring the match, who's also looking to expand their audience, because that's exactly what this is going to do for both parties. So everyone who saw this post and followed the theater was obviously going to like it, because all I have to do is click a button and that organization gets $1. It is a no-brainer that, oh yeah, I don't even have to do anything. I just like the post and they get $1. And if I really care about the organization, I share. And my friends will feel the same way. Oh yeah, Bridget shared this. I'm going to click that button. I'll like it for her. I didn't have to really do anything, and this organization still might get $1,000. And then every time someone shared, every time someone liked, this business got a new follower. They had a new person that they were reaching that otherwise would not have known that this business existed and that they were so passionate about the nonprofit sector. So I absolutely love this idea, especially if you're probably already thinking about some businesses that might have this power. And the great thing about businesses is that they probably have a very different following on Facebook than your organization does. So it is a fantastic opportunity to leverage those different bases on both ends, combine that power, and reach a new audience. Another really creative match that I like is actually a new donor match. So if this is a goal that you have for your Giving Day, is specifically to acquire more new donors who have never given to your organization before, having a match specifically for those people who've never given, really highlighting that in all of your communications, getting people to share things out so that that new donor can get that match. And if you do keep records, you have a donor database that you manage, this makes this a lot easier, because then you can very easily see, okay, it looks like all of these people are brand new to our database. So for every $1 that was raised from these people, we're going to, match it up to this amount. So if that's one of your goals, I've seen that be really successful in, one, getting new donors to actually give, because they know, oh, I'm a new donor, and when I give, it's going to be $20 instead of $10 today. So that's going to motivate me. But it also motivates your supporters to share things out, because While their gifts won't be matched because they're existing donors, if they can get some friends to support it, they know that, you know, it's as good as if they both donated because of that extra match. And then lastly, a board engagement match. I love this one. If you can get, you know, all of your board members to support you by offering an incentive if each board member gives. I've seen a couple different giving days do this. So if you have maybe a business or a sponsor, someone who wants to provide a match to get all of your board members to donate, or, you know, matching board member gifts so that they feel that extra impact, or have your board actually sponsor a matching gift so that maybe they always support your giving day every year. You know, they each give $100. And instead of, you know, just putting that towards your totals, you know, taking that, you know, collected pool from all of your board members and utilizing that as a match so your donors feel that their gift is being doubled. And now, while that might not seem like, well, I was already going to get that money anyway, how is using it as a match actually going to help me raise more? Well, while to you, it actually might be the same money kind of moving it around, your potential donors don't actually know that. They just come and see, oh, wow, if I donate today, my gift is doubled. You know, they don't know that that money was already coming in, and you might pull in new donors who had no idea about your organization and are really only giving because of that extra impact that you have, since matches really are so incredibly motivating. So that's a great way to get people excited to utilize that existing support that you have to get people motivated around the giving day. And lastly, I want to go into some creative ideas for how to get your community excited about the day. Again, taking your giving day offline a little bit, celebrating your business community, and getting everyone really excited about your giving day and what you're doing for your organization. So I've mentioned your business community a little bit. And it really is a fantastic and often untapped resource as you prepare and promote for a giving day. And there are lots of ways that you can engage with your local business community. And one of them is through promotion. So asking local businesses to display posters, handouts, stickers, any print materials in their place of business so that customers coming and going can easily see them, whether it's at the checkout counter, having, you know, some rack cards or flyers about the giving day, or right up in that window so people walking by can see. Little things like that. You never know if you don't ask and start kind of reaching out to people about who might be able to help you with this. And, you know, utilizing other components of the giving day, like whether it's your receipt or using people who are donating or who will donate to unlock special deals at businesses, you know, showing, hey, I gave to, you know, this giving day today, and maybe they get $1 off a drink at a bar, or, you know, they get $1 off a sandwich for breakfast that morning. Little things like that that actually encourage donors to attend that place of business. So you're promoting the business, while also having people more likely to support your organization because they are getting some little incentive out of it, even if it is just, you know, $1 off. So there is some mutual reciprocation there that you do want there to be when you are engaging with people outside of your organization, especially in your business community. There should be a sense of reciprocity there. Another great way, like I said, is to ask them to be a social media ambassador. So if you have a local business in your community that has a really strong following, maybe one of your board members has a connection, a friend, a family member, yourself, and I would love to be able to feature them on social media, and vice versa. Even if you set them up with a graphic, some copy, just ask them to share it out to let people know that the giving day is happening. And in return, you add their logo to one of your social media graphics that day. Something as small as that is just kind of a stepping stone into building a stronger relationship with a lot of these businesses. You can also host a fundraising night at local franchises. I've seen organizations do this all over the country. A lot of chains will offer the ability, if you plan enough in advance, to have a certain day, have a % of the proceeds that come in with people who bring in a flyer or say they're participating in the giving day. They'll get a % of their bill going towards your organization. So that's just something fun to do, to have a physical kind of presence, get more to go back to your organization and celebrate your mission in action with the people that support you. Some other ways to partner with businesses, maybe having them sponsor a match for all of your donors, or maybe just their employees, encouraging everyone on their team to donate on the giving day to any organization participating, and having that employer sponsor a match for their staff members to get them involved in the day can be really powerful. Maybe providing discounted space or goods if you're holding an event. Some in-kind donations for events can be often a lot easier for certain businesses to provide. So if you are having an an event, making sure you're reaching out to those potential in-kind sponsors, making sure that you're featuring them in some way leading up to and on the day, even if it's as little as, posting their logo on your website and on a social media post. That might not seem like a lot, but it is a stepping stone in that relationship with these businesses. And your relationship with your local business community should be something that's continuing to grow as you develop your mission and execute these strategies. I love this example here on the right, where you can see they basically just kind of swap the letters in the sign that they have out on the road all year round to support this specific giving day and say, Google the amazing Give Girls Place and donate. So pretty specific call to action to support a specific organization. But even if it's just saying, the Giving Day URL or, your organization's name, the Giving Day date, something like that. Something so easy, they just have to put it up for a day or two, and it does make a big difference, and it's a lot of fun to take photos of, post online, celebrate your community coming together to support this Giving Day, because that's really what it's all about. It's trying to get as many people involved and as excited about the work that you're doing as possible. And when you can bring not just the nonprofit community, not just the supporter community, but your businesses, people outside of that realm who may have no idea that this Giving Day is going on, which is actually probably the #1 thing we hear from donors after a Giving Day is, yeah, no, I had a great experience. I just wish I had heard about it beforehand because I really had no idea. So by leveraging your community in this way, you're not only, helping your organization, but you're helping the Giving Day itself reach more people, expand the community-wide effort that everyone is kind of celebrating, because that's probably the most fun part about a Giving Day, is getting your entire community excited to actually, give, even if it is for the first time. It's a great chance to get people motivated. Living your mission in action. I mentioned this earlier, but if you can host a volunteer opportunity, this is one of my favorite ways to highlight the work that you're doing in real time. It's also a great chance to take photos, videos, go live, you name it. It makes for great content. Like you see here, this senior center, the whole event during Idaho Gives, during the 24 hours, they had a quilting session. So people could come in and add a little patch to this quilt. And at the end of the day, they posted a big picture with everyone kind of wrapped up in this big Idaho Gives quilt. And it was such a fun thing that people could stop in and do. It didn't require a ton of time commitment. They could come, do a patch, take a photo, and head out. But it did make people feel like they could come, join in the fun, be a part of something that was still tied, to this organization's mission and the work that they did, but was very personal and something very tangible that they could see. And I think you can do this in so many ways, whether, it's, a physical activity that people are doing, cleaning up a stream, knitting a quilt, giving a tour of a theater space, or showing people hanging lights. There's so many different things you can do to celebrate your volunteers, get them excited, post on social media. This makes for fantastic content, especially on a Giving Day where you do want to show off your mission, how you're making it work, what the impact of your work is. And your volunteers likely have a very strong impact on the work you do every day. So by highlighting them, showing it off to people who can't make it in person, by sharing this on social media and in your emails, really makes people feel like you're doing the work you're intending to do, and that by making a gift to your organization, they're making opportunities like the one they're seeing here possible. And some other in-person engagement ideas. I've seen events become a lot more popular with online Giving Days, because all you need is an internet-enabled phone or iPad or computer, whatever you have handy, and someone can pretty easily make a donation to your organization. And having an event is a great way to celebrate your existing donors, your new donors, your board members, your sponsors, pretty much anyone who has held your hand throughout the planning process of the Giving Day, or is just a proud supporter of your organization. It's just a great opportunity to celebrate them and have a little bit of fun. Especially at the end of your Giving Day, if you want to have a celebration, a little happy hour. I've seen events throughout the day. In the morning, maybe having, setting up shop in a local coffee shop or bagel place, and encouraging your donors to come on in for a cup of coffee and say hello. You can take pictures with them. You can have maybe a promotion going on with the business if they come in during a certain hour. Also great if there are any morning power hours, to do it during those times. You can let people know that it's happening. I've seen people do all-day donor lounges, so, in different places throughout the community, like libraries, banks, common areas, parks, having kind of a space where people can come, make a gift really easily, having some Giving Day branded photo booth kind of stuff so people can take pictures and say why they gave. That's pretty easy to do. As well as, pretty much all of these are pretty attainable. And if you don't have the capacity to run an event, that's totally fine. It can be a pretty big undertaking. But something I love about a giving day is that you are bringing so many nonprofits together. So why not leverage that participation, that nonprofit community who are all joining in on this day and come together and say, maybe on my own, I can't afford to, book a space for the night. But if me and, 8 other nonprofits all want to have an event, but are all smaller, but all want to have a place for our donors to come, pooling together your resources, figuring out who knows who, how much money are we all willing to put in, and having one big celebration to celebrate all of your organizations that are participating. I mean, a giving day is about all of you. So if you can find a way to collaborate, to make the most out of this event, not only does that make it easier for your organization, but it also makes it more exciting in the actual event space because donors are talking to other donors. People are all really excited about, oh, wow, look at all of these people who gave, who are a part of this giving day. It's a lot of fun when you bring that kind of energy into a room, which is why so many people are kind of trying to take their giving day offline in a lot of these ways. And again, there are so many different event ideas you can have, like the volunteer opportunities, like a physical event space, a happy hour, just being at a bar saying, hey, we're going to be here. We'd love to see you and say hi. It can be as simple as that. But having some kind of physical presence on the day really does make people feel like you're accessible, like you're celebrating, and like you're having a little bit of fun on the giving day, which is really what it's all about. And what giving days are all about is that anyone can make a difference because you want to empower your donors to know that this giving day is about them. It's about them making a difference in the work that you do and having a tangible impact in their own community. So seeking those opportunities to engage with your supporters, finding what works for you and your organization, because as you know, every organization is different and will have different needs, different questions, a different supporter base that wants different things. So strategizing ahead of, maybe you want to have an event, but haven't thought about those things first. Definitely think about those things first because then your event will be even more successful. And start as early as you possibly can. I think with everything we do, we always plan to start early, but sometimes things slip away from us. But as you get closer to the giving day, making sure you've got your ducks in a row so that during the actual event, you can sit back, have fun, enjoy all the hard work you've put into the day so you don't have to focus on the little things and you can actually celebrate the work you're doing, celebrate your supporters, and enjoy the experience because giving days really are a blast. It's a great chance for you to try new things, work with the people who care about your organization most, and get everyone excited to give back in their own backyard. All right, that's it for today's presentation. But before I send you all off, I do want to point out we are having one more webinar on Thursday, April 19th, specifically around Giving Day social media strategies. So focusing more on those specific things you can do on a variety of social media platforms that will empower and help you succeed on your Giving Day goals. And that's Thursday, April 19th at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. And you can register for that by heading to the link shown here. And that is also linked to the other recordings and other webinars we've hosted on board engagement and storytelling that you can find the recording and the slides of, as well as this PDF download of a ton of resources your organization can utilize as you prepare for the Giving Day. And all of that is available to you for free at that link there. So head to that link and you will be able to find all of those awesome resources. So it's info.givegab.com/nonprofit giving day toolkit. So here are those webinar recordings from last time. This is also where we'll be posting today's webinar and today's slides so you can share it out after today, and where you can register for our next webinar on social media strategies. Here you can also download that PDF with lots of great information in there. All right, I think that's it for me. We'll hang around if there are any questions or if anyone wants to share any creative ideas that they have. We'll stick around for a few more minutes. But in the meantime, I do just want to thank everyone for attending today. We're so excited to be able to work with you, and we wish you all the best of luck during your Giving Day and hope you find great success and have fun. And again, if you have any creative strategies that you're thinking about or you've done and you want to share, email us at customersuccess@givegab.com. We'd love to hear what you're working on and help you strategize to be as successful as possible. All right, it doesn't look like we have had any questions come in, so I'm going to wrap it up a little bit early. Hope you all enjoy the rest of your day. And again, we wish you all the best of luck on your giving day. Take care, everyone, and thanks again for joining us. Bye-bye.